Hello world, double thumbs here. The DJI Osmo Action and the DJI Osmo Pocket. Two of the best small cameras available on the market. But your smartphone is the best small camera on the market. Get out. So mirrorless cameras like the Sony a6400 have amazing image quality, but it's not something that you can carry around everywhere. Not easily anyways. Compared to the big cameras, these small mini cameras are really easy to carry around and you can carry them virtually everywhere. And I know I'm late to the party for this little comparison, but I've been using these two cameras for the last 12 months. And I'm gonna talk about the pros and cons of both cameras that I've realized over the last 12 months. And let's see which is better, the mini gimbal camera or the action camera. So the first aspect I'll cover is the image quality and the video modes. And both of these cameras have a 1/2.3 inch sensor, which is the sensor used in most smartphones and action cams. But the Action has an f2.8 lens, whereas the Pocket has a f2 lens. So it has a brighter lens, so it's gonna be minimally better in low light situations. You could tell the difference, but as a non-professional, I really couldn't tell a night and day kind of a difference. Where you can feel the difference is the field of view. The Osmo Action has a very wide field of view. You can use it for vlogging, it gets everything and more in the background, whereas the Osmo Pocket has a 28mm field of view, which is just enough for vlogging, but it is on the tighter end of vlogging compared to something like the Gopro or the Osmo Action. In terms of image quality, I do like the image from the Pocket better. And just looking at the image from both of them, you can tell that the Osmo Pocket does have a little bit sharper image, although again, it's not really noticeable. And both of them do shoot in log profile, the Cine-like D profile, which I like using, and both can shoot time lapses and hyper lapses, but the Osmo Pocket can do motion lapses. Because the Osmo Pocket is a mini gimbal, it can shoot in modes that regular gimbals can, and the motion lapse, which is the motion time lapse, is one of the features I like the most about the Osmo Pocket, and I use it quite often. And the second factor, the stabilization. The Osmo Pocket uses a mechanical stabilization aided by this gimbal right here, whereas the Osmo Action uses an electronic stabilization DJI calls rock steady. And both cameras have amazing stabilization. You're never gonna have any issues with stabilized footage or unstable footage, at least in daylight. If the sun goes down or if you're in an indoor situation where light source isn't very bright, then the Osmo Pocket, because it's a mechanical gimbal, it's gonna keep the image still very stable, whereas the Osmo Action, which is an electronic stabilization, it's gonna start to have jitters and blurs, as I noticed during my 1 year with this camera. And this becomes important if you're traveling. So if you're out all day and if you're traveling all day and you want to keep your footage as stable as possible, then this is the one to use, because the Osmo Action's image, it's gonna start to become blurry and jittery as the sun goes down. So if you're not going through the snow or rain or any kind of action sports, then the Osmo Pocket is the better all-day camera. And third is the audio quality. The Osmo Action is waterproof from factory, so it has lots of housing and layers of housing surrounding the camera and the microphone, meaning it doesn't have the best onboard microphone. Compared to the Action, the Osmo Pocket is not waterproof, and it does have a mic right here and also on the bottom right there, and it's quite exposed, so it's gonna have a better onboard mic. Osmo Action sound test 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 onboard mic. Okay, the Osmo Pocket onboard mic test. How does it sound? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you do want to use an external mic to boost your audio quality, you do have to buy an adapter for both of them. So this is the Osmo Pockets adapter, and this is the Osmo Actions adapter. Both of them are about $40 and they're not cheap, but if you want to use an external microphone, you do need them. Now with the Rode Wireless Go and the Osmo Action, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now the Osmo Pocket with the Wireless Go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you're planning on buying an adapter for both of them, both sound great. But if you're wanting to go without these guys and rely on the onboard mic, then the Osmo Pocket is better. So to the fourth aspect, the durability and the portability. And both cameras are quite small and quite light, so carrying either one all day is not a problem at all. But the Osmo Action has a replaceable lens cover and doesn't have any moving parts, so I feel more secure putting this into my pocket compared to the Osmo Pocket, which has this gimbal head that's gonna move around if I put it into my pocket. And you can solve this problem by using a case that DJI gives you, but it does make the pocket much bigger, so I don't like using them. So instead I use a gimbal head like this guy. The gimbal head, you just stick it on to the pocket like that and secure. No, not really. It can still move around quite a bit. So in that sense, the Action is a better portable camera. But the Osmo Pocket has been pretty reliable. As someone who drops his camera quite often, it's actually held up. I think I dropped this thing probably like 50 times, and even after those 50 drops, it's still working fine. No problems at all, everything's fine. I do feel the battery life got a little bit worse, but that's from using it rather than dropping it, I hope. And you can purchase the $20 DJI Osmo Shield, and that covers you from accidental drops for up to 2 years. For only 20 bucks. So I got that, but I haven't had to use it because even after all these drops, it's worked. But the durability does go to the Osmo Action with its removable lens cover if you're able to crack the front lens cover, and it's waterproof from factory. So if you're someone who puts their cameras through rough conditions like me, then it's definitely better to have an Osmo Action because you can drop it, you can put it into water, you can do whatever you want with it, and it's probably gonna survive it. Look at this sturdy little thing. So fifth is the ease of use. And when I first bought the Osmo Pocket, I've never used the gimbal before. So learning how to use the 3 different modes of the Osmo Pocket, the follow, the tilt lock, and the FPV mode was a little bit difficult. But for someone who's never used a gimbal before, just keep it in FPV where it just it's a first person view. So you just kind of follow what your hand movements are. Is probably the easiest way to use the Osmo Pocket, and it's just a matter of time as you learn how to use the tilt lock and the follow mode, so it gives you that flexibility when you want to shoot in different kind of situations. And I also like the fact that it has face track, so it's like a mini cameraman that you have with you at all times, so it catches your face and it just tracks it wherever it goes up to the gimbal's limits. And I really liked it, and it's a really cool gimmicky feature that you can use. Osmo Pocket in comparison is a much simpler tool. You just point out what you want to record and press record, and that's it. Anybody can use it, and it does have a larger screen so that you can navigate through it easier than the small screen of the Osmo Pocket. It's quite small. But once you get used to it, it's not a problem using it, but the bigger screen definitely helps in navigating through the menus. So in conclusion, both the DJI Osmo Pocket and the DJI Osmo Action are great little cameras for YouTube videos and blogs. The DJI Osmo Pocket is better in terms of image quality and stabilization and internal microphone, whereas the Osmo Action is more portable, more durable, and a bit easier to use. But both cameras do have its place, and it's, I would say, worth buying if you're looking for a small camera to film your life or your YouTube videos with. What do you think is better of the two? Let me know down below, and until next time, boom!